Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real AI Now, a podcast about real applications of AI in business, brought to you by 2Impulse. My name is Paulo Nunes. I am CEO at 2Impulse, and I'm going to be your host today. This episode is focusing on e-commerce. Today, we are joined by Fábio Carreto. Fábio is the CEO and founder of Pipecodes. Pipecodes has been a partner for us for many years now. Welcome, Fábio, to the Real AI Now podcast. Good to have you.
Hello, Paulo. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure to be here and to speak about e-commerce. Has been a journey, and thank you again.
So let's jump right into it, Fábio. Google Consent Mode version 2. There has been a lot of talk about this in the last few days. Something has changed,
Yeah.
right? What can you talk a bit about that and tell us what changed and what the challenges are?
Yeah. So basically, we try to help our customers in every area that e-commerce acts. E-commerce is a puzzle, and Google Ads and Google services are a piece of that puzzle.
Mhm.
And around e-commerce, we also need to have in mind compliance regulations, etc. And Google just released another consent mode this month in March. It's something fresh on the table.
Mhm.
Basically, what we are talking about is the cookies pop-ups and the way Google is changing now, collecting data due to,
Yeah.
of course, regulations, and this is having high impact on marketing and on the data that you can collect from your e-commerce, basically.
So let me understand. So the way you provide consent for being tracked by Google or Google Analytics or has changed. Is that it? So before you just had to click OK, or there is a pop-up where different types of cookies and you might accept
Yeah.
some and not. And now you have to explicitly accept Google Analytics cookies, or
Yes, yes.
what's the difference?
There are some new categories that are mandatory and that you should have right now on your cookies pop-up. Okay. And based on that, you will have high impact on your Google Analytics first, and then on Google Tag Manager, but also in every part related to ads and to user segmentation. Okay, in the end of the day, the impact will be on the leads that are coming into your website, and this is
Okay.
some.
So let me again trying to understand this. So let's say I'm an e-commerce shop owner. I'm operating an e-commerce shop, and um, because of this new consent mode, I don't get as much qualified traffic as before. Is that it? So
Yeah.
I get people. So that means that the ads, assuming that the traffic comes through ads.
Mhm.
Does that mean that um, that basically the people who click the ads are not the right people anymore? How can can you explain that a bit? I'm still.
This is really fresh, okay?
Yeah.
This that only has 1 or 2 weeks, this subject, and
Hmm.
especially the impacts that they are having. As you know, we work more on the tech side of the e-commerce, all
Hmm.
the store integrations, all the things that we can improve to
Yeah.
increase the store conversion. This is
Right.
where we work, but of course, we also like to know about the other part, the marketing, the ads,
Right.
funnels. We are always interested in the other part because in the end of the day,
Right.
it has a
Okay.
big impact on our
So
work.
so
But
let's focus a bit on that. because this is an interesting topic. So, for example, there is Google search ads. I search for, let's say I'm looking for running shoes,
Mhm.
and I search for running shoes on Google. I see ads, right? And then I click an ad. Now, did that change? So if I click
Yeah.
an ad for the shoe shop, now I'm still going to go to the shop and I'm qualified because I was searching for shoes. So that
Mhm.
did that change? Do you know if that changed or
Yeah,
not within
yeah,
consent mode?
that's why I was talking about this. We work on the tech side, but we
Okay.
like to know the other part.
Okay.
And the other part is what changed is really fresh. But I just had a call like some days ago with a client that
All
is
right.
facing the issues in this part, and we changed some
Right.
ideas. And he told me that what is happening right now is, like you said, the leads that are coming into your website through
Right.
heads are not qualified as they should be because
Okay. So you look,
the
you're seeing
data
the
that
symptoms now. Right.
yeah what happens and what this marketeer explained to me is that the amount of data that they received in these bots or in these Google bots and Google
Yeah.
Ads data decreased. So they think that they are the bot itself because they also have bit of AI in the heads part. The bot
Hmm.
itself started thinking that, okay, did I made something wrong in terms of segmenting the users? And then this is where it lands that the bot started reacting and what is happening is that you may not be getting the leads that you want into your website in
Hmm.
your e-commerce, and the impact is that the conversions decreased because what you
Okay.
want
So,
to convert, but they decreased.
okay. So this is a new problem and that we're still trying to understand. And what we see, what you are observing now are the symptoms,
Mhm. Yeah.
and which kind of brings us to another issue, which is the dependency that e-commerce has on Google. Right?
Yeah.
So if Google turns a switch, it affects the whole e-commerce market, and this is a lot of power essentially that Google holds in their hands. So that would bring me to the next question, which would be, um, what can an e-commerce uh, operator do to reduce this dependency on Google? And what is it that you suggest, recommend to your customers to do in order to mitigate a bit the situation?
Yeah, that is true. Google brings you a lot of traffic into your website, especially because it segmentates the users that are coming through, and that is important for the conversion.
Hmm.
If you think about a decreasing of 5% in the conversion, in some businesses can means a lot of money. Okay, if you decrease or if you increase the conversion by 5%, we can be talking about millions. So this has high
Yeah,
impact.
yeah,
How can
5%,
yeah
5% is a
yeah
lot
is
in
a
any
lot
business.
in any business, and Google can have this impact with this. But the thing is, as an e-commerce manager, you should always be have an open mind to an omni-channel integration. So you should not relate only on Google. You should also pay attention on other advertisement channels, other channels, so you can reach more customers. We can be talking about email marketing, some
Right.
other initiatives, but thinking
Like things
always
like
about,
Meta, for
yeah,
example,
omni-channel,
Facebook,
omni-channel.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Uh,
you have other ways, and you should think about the percentage that you, and the effort that you put in each box, because the omni-channel works as a lot of boxes,
right.
and you should have a strategy for all the boxes and not only for ads, basically also for the website. And what are you delivering in your e-commerce? Because if you only land on ads, it's not the way to success.
Right. So it's like putting all the eggs in the
Exactly.
same basket, right? And that can work very well, but if Google turns the switch,
Yeah.
then you might be in big trouble. And that applies to other channels too. So if you put all your eggs in the Meta basket, then
Mhm.
if Meta decides to change their policy, you also have a problem. So what I understand from what you said is you should diversify your customer acquisition channels in e-commerce exactly because these situations can happen. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, you should definitely have an omni-channel strategy related to different channels where you can reach your customers.
Hmm.
And also, you should have a good e-commerce journey without any blockers. Uh,
So
per-
that's when they arrive to your
yeah,
website.
personalization is key.
All
Uh,
right.
so you can convert more because, well, you know that if you create your own customer profiles, you will succeed more in the conversion. That's what you want in the end of the day. But
Mhm.
also after that, there are things that can be improved, so you can improve your revenues. You can work
Okay.
with AI in other stuff that can help you in this.
Okay. So that's very interesting. So let's break that down a little. So we talked about omni-channel. That means how do you attract? You should have a diversified strategy spread out through different channels to attract customers to your website, essentially to your e-commerce website. And then when they arrive, right, you want to convert them.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, what are the challenges that you see there, and how can technologies like AI help? So let's take the example I used before. I'm looking for running shoes, right? And then I see an ad for
Mhm.
running shoes. I click the ad,
Mhm.
or either I'm looking or I'm targeted by some ad that somehow understood that I'm looking for running shoes and is retargeting me or whatever. And so I end up on the website. Um, what's the next step? What is it that you recommend there?
Personalization, because the product that or the products that you may find in the store may not be the ones that you're looking for.
Hmm.
Um, and nowadays, we don't need to land on this kind of product presentation. There are a lot of AI tools that we can use either for search or for building like the full web page that you are seeing can be personalized based on your interaction with the brand, and that's where
Hmm.
AI can have a lot of work to make.
Okay. Can we get an example? Like, how does that work? How do I get a personalized
Uh,
landing page or whatever it's called when I arrive to the e-commerce shop?
Usually, there are a lot of tools in the market for this.
Hmm.
Building something from scratch can also be a possibility, but for smaller brands, there are
Hmm.
services that can be reused. We
Can you
can
can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, something like Clevo. Clevo is an AI-based service that
Hmm.
can make this. It can work through the searches, and it can work through the product recommendations. Let's imagine that when you go to your product details page, you see your pair of shoes, but on the recommendations or working on the upsell or on the cross sell, that's where AI can make a
Right.
lot and increase even more the revenues, because instead of you buying only one pair of shoes, the recommendations with AI can make your basket and your ticket more higher because
Hmm.
you will see the recommendations based on your profile, and that's where Clevo is a good tool to be used. Yeah.
Okay, Clevo, is this, so I have an e-commerce shop based on, I don't know, Shopify, and can I use Clevo together
Yes.
with that? Okay, is
Yes.
that a SaaS service?
Yes. It is a SaaS service. They also have integrations with the
Like
major.
install an add-on or my
Yeah.
website? Is that how that works? Okay. And that will work for, I don't know, WordPress too, things like that. So if I
I'm
have a
not sure about.
WordPress website,
Yeah, I'm not sure
WooCommerce
about, but probably yes. They have a lot
or
of.
Magento.
Yeah, usually they try to have integrations with plugins because it's
All right.
plug and play with the major e-commerce platforms. So Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, PrestaShop. So yeah, they
Mhm.
try to have plugins for every platform.
Okay. So, um, what other challenges do you see? Like, so we have, what would be the next step? So I arrived at the website, I get a personalized experience, so I get better recommendations, I sometimes I might even see a website that only I see, or like a page that only I
Yeah,
see that is kind of
correct.
personalized for me, because some kind of customer segmentation already happened, and they already know me, or at least they have an idea of what I'm kind of in which segment do I fit, which profile, and what's next. So
Retention.
let's say let's say I am buying shoes now. Would the next step would be try to add something more to the shopping cart when I'm checking
Yes,
out,
that's the
or
next step.
try to kind of all people who would you like to add some shoelaces for extra
Yeah,
shoelaces or whatever, or some product to help you take care of the shoes, um, right? Which is this also a thing, or
yeah,
are there
that's
also tools for that? You help
yeah.
customers with that too?
Yeah, the upsell and the cross-sell are
Mm,
the major part, and where also AI can have a big piece on this and a big impact. And I think that after that, the retention, because if you got a personalized experience, if you got a good shopping experience, in the end of the day, what you want is to retain your customers uh, so they can buy you again. That's the key thing because the long time value, the LTV, is extremely important on e-commerce
right.
and can be reached only to a very good shopping experience. But
Hmm.
again, not only what you see on the
Website.
e-commerce journey on the website. After that, there are a lot of things that can be improved with
Hmm.
AI and with automated processes.
Hmm.
Customer support is key because if you don't get a good customer support, they won't get back.
Yeah,
Um,
let's put a pin on that. Excuse me for interrupting.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'd like to stay on the topic of retention, right? Customer
yeah.
support is, I understand, is a customer service. Customer support is a pillar of that.
Hmm.
Um, you talked about, so let's say customer retention mean it implies that I'm already a customer, that I already bought something.
Hmm.
Now, other than customer service, and we'll get there, what are other things that you can do to retain a person? So you talked about email before.
Yes, I was
So I'm thinking of good brands. They try to kind of come up with an offer from time to time to
exactly.
kind of attract me back to the site. Is this what can be done there that is fresh, that is new,
Automation.
that, for example, making use of AI
Yeah,
to
automation.
for example,
Basically,
the automation of what?
we have two kinds. I'm seeing two scenarios here. The first scenario is, and if you don't buy, if you added products to your cart, but you don't buy it, uh,
Okay.
there are strategies with AI to recover that customers.
Yeah.
Uh, and this is where personalization can also work in the AI.
Hmm.
You can use
But
automation.
this is only if you already know who the customer is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But if you know why, the reason why they didn't buy with you, you can target use personalized emails for abandoned carts. Okay.
Yeah, I get
AI.
those.
Okay. So,
And
but
how does the AI work? I mean, is it not just okay, this person, we know who they are. We know that it's Fabio that started putting things on the cart. We have that information and we collect that data. So we could just send emails to everybody that has
no, but
carts.
you
Where's
can
the
create,
AI?
you can also create profiles for abandoned carts.
Hmm.
And the emails that you are getting for your abandoned cart are not the same as me. And that's the key part. I can understand that
And that uses what, generative AI to create to send like a creative email
it's a
that
possibility. Again,
okay.
there are services that are already doing it.
Yeah.
You can build also on those services your own tree of decisions for
Hmm.
per segment.
Hmm.
But if you want to go further, I think AI has a lot of things to do in this area. Like,
Like
imagine
generative AI.
that a good email that I want to send to you is, have you tried buy now, pay later? It was a problem of you don't having money to pay all the things that you wanted.
Hmm.
I can target an email for specifically for you saying, okay, why don't you use a service, a payment service for buy now, pay later? And this
Right.
increases a lot the conversion because instead of losing a customer, you have a strategy to reach him again. And
Hmm.
of course, this
So
needs to be personalized.
abandoned carts, okay. Abandoned carts using personalized
Yeah.
kind of emails to basically recover those things. What else? Like let's say I don't have an abandoned cart, but I am a customer. So would it make sense to target me with special offers that are personalized for me too? Like so
Yeah.
the hyper personalization topic that we had, this also applies here, right? So the
Yeah.
more personal it is, the better. And this is where AI can help.
Yes. So basically, we have two main segments that we can use AI for email marketing because that's what we are talking about. The
Hmm.
first segment is for abandoned carts and
Hmm.
personalization here,
Right.
and the second segment is for offers. So we can increase your LTV, your long time value for the brand. So you
Yeah.
can buy us again. There are a lot of strategies here, and AI can, of course, have high impact on these strategies for email marketing and segmentation.
Especially for the personalization, right?
Personalization is, of course, because if you have a strategy to treat all the persons the same way, you won't reach them all. But if you have a strategy for personalization
Hmm.
here on this part, you can increase a lot
Hmm.
your conversions.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a few months back, I wrote a blog article about customer profiling
Hmm.
using ChatGPT,
Yeah.
right? And so, and I'm pretty sure that there's already e-commerce tools working on this as we speak, or already have this kind of thing, which is, let's say I am sending offers. I'm preparing kind of a set of offers. So and I want to start a campaign, basically, that sends this offer to my existing customers. I can use generative AI, I can use ChatGPT, depending on the profile. So I know the history of the person. I have some kind of profile of this person, and I could send an individual message actually to each
Exactly.
one of them using generative AI, right? And
Exactly.
this can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, basically what we are talking about.
Do you have experience with this, and have you seen results already
Yes,
of this kind of
yes.
thing?
we have seen a lot of results with our clients. Basically, what we are in the end of the day talking about again is what we spoke in the beginning of the conversation, an omni-channel strategy.
Right.
Because if you have your client profiles, you should then have also a CRM where you have all the data from them.
Mm-hmm.
And this CRM needs to be connected to a very powerful email marketing tool. With this, you have the client history. And
Mm-hmm.
if between those two pieces you apply AI, that's where you can have big impact on personalization. But again, this is part of the omni-channel because the ads only play a role bringing you new customers.
Mm-hmm.
It's your responsibility to have a good omni-channel strategy so you don't land only on ads. If you have a good CRM, a good history connected to a good email marketing tool, and
Mm-hmm.
between this, if you apply AI, that's where you start losing your and you don't depend more on ads. Okay,
Right. Not as much. Right.
not as much, of course, but
Yeah.
it's where you can have impact by
Mm-hmm.
yourself using, of course, technology, but not relying on external services themselves.
Not only, right?
Not only-
Probably you always need ads, you always need
Yes,
search ads, you always need other types of ads, and then but you also need these kind of things. So
yeah,
email marketing, so we talked about ads, we talked about the segment for shopping carts, like
yeah.
abandoned carts. Now we've got campaigns, right? Email
Okay.
campaigns.
Mhm.
And so what else do you see in AI? We customer service, right?
Customer
Do you
service.
also see that as a pillar for customer retention? And what is your experience there, and how can AI be used?
Customer services play a big role on your branding because it can affect you a lot. Even if you have the best store, if you don't, if you have a bad customer service, they won't get back again, and
Mm-hmm.
word will be spread, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that. And how can these be affected? I can think about some scenarios that we saw in some of our clients.
Mm-hmm.
The operations part plays also a key role on your customer service. When you start increasing, you start having a lot of time spent on operations, and we can be talking about stock management, uh,
Mm-hmm.
mm, invoicing, and that can affect the customer services because
Mm-hmm.
customer service is not only the chat that plays also a good role. How is my order? When
Yeah,
can
what's the status
my
of my
order?
order?
And around this,
I
this
want a refund.
exactly, but this is part of the the um, the end of the journey. So you pay, you get you pay for your order, and then there are the other part that start working. And
Mm-hmm.
AI can also play a big role here, automating these tasks
Mm-hmm.
that don't need to be made
Yeah.
by a human, by a person. There
Sure.
are automating invoicing, automating the stock management, the communications with the clients, of course, the customer
Mm-hmm.
support.
Yeah.
That's where AI can give you more time, focus on improving the relationship with your customers so you
Mm-hmm.
can spend time on operations. And that's where AI can also have a big impact.
Okay. So I was this week I was at an event, and I watched a talk about um, customer service, like trends in 5 trends in customer service, or at least it was around that. So one of them was self-service, so that customers can go to if they have a question, if they have something, they can go to the website or go to whatever and find an answer to that question somehow, either FAQs or a chatbot or whatever. Then there was a second one, which was so self-service. Second one was omni-channel, so that there's more than one channel. Different people prefer different channels. Some like emails, some like calling, some like
SMS.
chat, like live chat or whatever messaging app, WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and um, and that you should try to offer that as much as you can. And of course, I mean, especially in the self-service part, AI plays a big role. And how do you see that? Do you successfully implement an AI project like with a chatbot on a customer website and saw good results, for example, on an e-commerce website?
There are
Or
some
is there still some resistance from especially smaller to medium shops with this topic?
small to medium shops are still, I think that they are still facing other issues on operations, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where AI can help them. After that, they should have time for the other part, for automating some other processes, more focus on the store. But I think that
Mm-hmm.
smaller and medium store needs a lot of AI and help from AI on the
Mm-hmm.
operations side part.
So by operations, you mentioned that you mean like managing stock of
Per-
product,
yeah,
doing invoicing,
I
and what else? What else would you consider operations?
I think a big subject nowadays that I'm seeing on our customers is predictable stock.
Predicting the stock that they need.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and predicting your stock, you can have a better management or on your on what you are delivering to your customer. There are also some customers that are trying a thing called selling without stock,
Mm-hmm.
because having a predictable stock management in place can help you to do that,
But
especially when you have big campaigns like clothes, etc.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having a predictable stock management can help you to sell more, even uh, if you don't have on
Mm-hmm.
your management store.
Okay. So there is another thing. So you basically what you're saying is, and I'm sure that this is AI, the problem, with maybe the exception of forecasting your stock levels and needs. The other things, I believe you're talking about digitization.
Yes,
Like, so if you digitize and automate your invoicing process and
yes,
and these kind of things, then you get that out of the way,
correct,
and then you can focus on customer service, for
correct.
example. Okay. And so one thing that just came to my mind was like fulfillment.
Fulfillment.
So, and you talked a bit about that. So if you don't have your own stock, if you don't have your own warehouse,
Mhm.
you basically outsource that, the fulfillment of your orders, to somebody else. So not only the stock, but then also the delivery of your product to the customer. Is this something that you see growing right
Yes.
now? More and more e-commerce companies depend on fulfill companies that fulfill for them, and or what is the trend that you see?
This is also plays also a big piece on most of our customers, the fulfillment part. Some of them, they have their own warehouses, but like you said, others don't have their own warehouses. I see some of them having warehouses around Europe, in other countries, and then they need to manage and to have predictable stock around that, of course, but also using some tools that basically they make an integration between the warehouses and your stock management software. We can talk about Brightpearl is a very powerful tool for this. I think it
Right.
was acquired by Sage. But there are tools on the market that can help you. But here we are talking about digitization, of course, integrations, and only after that comes the AI and how you can improve.
Okay. I have the impression that nowadays it's just such a zoo of tools out there. So
Yeah.
there's so many e-commerce, and you've got the advertisement and the and all this world. Then you have the e-commerce platform itself, and you have a number of them, and you have like choices between headless and not headless, and then you've got all these tools like you need an email marketing, you need a CRM, you need the fulfillment part, you need invoicing. So you need to put all these pieces of the puzzle together and together with your processes. So it seems like a jungle these days. And the question that comes to mind is, um, how do you advise your customers in selecting the right tools? Because it seems that this is a difficult task.
It's a path. It depends on the size that they have. Because when you grow, you need a lot of these tools. Each tool has a price, but maybe if you are starting, you only need a small thing. And we try to tailor-made our proposals based on the abilities of the client, because we are here to help the clients, even if they are smaller or bigger. The pains are different. Someone smaller, what they want is a reliable and cheap platform that they want to start selling. We can think about an MVP. You are start selling your product. You don't need the best platform in the world, but you need something that works for you and it's cheap. And with this type of client, we go one way. We go with WooCommerce, their own server, and then they start growing. They jump to a medium platform, and if we go for
And
bigger,
you help them do this transition,
exactly.
migration from one to the other.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can migrate, and then they starting improving other parts or the pieces. Then it comes the invoicing automation, some operations that can be improved with other tools. We start integrating other tools. And of course, you need to start paying for other SaaS, etc. But in summary, it depends on the client size because the needs are different, and we try to adapt based on this.
All right. So what led Pipecodes, right? And yourself. So you started Pipecodes, and what inspired you to work in this world of e-commerce?
I started working 13 years ago. I made a bit of everything, mobile, web, and then I remember to start having some projects with Drupal, and that's where I started having the requests for integrating PayPal payments.
Okay.
That was the first time that I saw the need of integrating an online payment, and maybe that was the starting my starting journey on e-commerce. It was a really small thing for the UK, but they requested an integration with PayPal payment, and then I started seeing that the e-commerce grows a lot since then. But we can have big impacts on the businesses. That's, I think, what leads me, and my passion on this area comes from you yourself can have big impact on client businesses.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a matter of on mobile changing a button,
Right.
and you can imagine that this button for smaller clients can represent an increasing of 5%.
That's a lot.
But 5% is a lot.
It's always a lot. Okay.
Last week, we started working with another new client from Portugal, a big client, and we started only focusing on mobile. We will change the UI and the UX only on mobile because 80% of the traffic comes from mobile, and they have a lot of abandoned carts. So I saw, okay,
What's the problem there, right?
the problem is, of course, UX. It's not the platform itself. The platform is behaving as expected, but the UX can be changed like quite easily, changing a button sometimes. And I saw, okay, if we change this part, if they increase, if they decrease by 5% the abandoned carts in the big
Oh,
company,
that's a
a lot
a
of
big impact. Right? Yeah.
it's a big impact. And that's where my passion is, I think, is
Okay.
small business
Impact. What you do
having
has a lot of
impact.
impact.
Yeah, because of course you see the clients grow and you can grow with them. That's my passion, I think.
That's a good motivation
Yes.
to create these win-win situations. Yeah. So Fabio, thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
My
This
pleasure.
was a great conversation. E-commerce is such it's such a competitive world, right? It moves so fast. It's really easy to get lost on and to get a bit confused by all the noise. So I'm pretty sure that people like you will play a big role.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again for joining us, Fabio. Thank you for listening or for watching. Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel or to follow our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts channels. Thank you for listening and talk to you again soon.